Contents of a complete research report. So friends, a research report is basically something that gives data, its interpretation, and the conclusive recommendation. Therefore, it simply implies that the recommendation has to be given, but it has to be backed by data and interpretation. Right? So, a complete research report has certain elements which are mandatorily there. What are they? Let's say we are trying to analyze a company ABC. This is a foods and beverages company. Right? This is a foods and beverages company. Many favorite brands and many famous brands belong to this foods and beverage company. Now, what we do is we summarize few things. What we summarize? Basically, what is the comparative scenario? Industry figures. Now, in terms of industry figures, what are they? Profit margins, operating profit margins, net income margins, P ratios, PB ratios. These are all industry level figures that we might mention here and compare them with ABC's operating margins, net income, P ratios, PB ratios, etc. We may also look at the growth of the industry. Let's say the industry is growing at 8% and this ABC company is growing at 10%. So we make our remarks on that. Then comes the regulatory scenario. For example, let's say the company makes baby food or baby milk powder. Now we have to take care and see what are the approvals this company has. What is the regulatory scenario? Is there a chance that the company may fall into some kind of difficulty because of some ingredient being used? Is there such a possibility? Can the regulations change and put the company in some advantage or some disadvantage? These things have to be understood or analyzed. What else can we mention here? Some financial data. Financial and also some industry specific data. For example, what is the market share of the company currently? What was the market share 5 years back? And what is the projected market share maybe 5 years afterwards? Then financial data, what is the debt scenario? What is the profitability scenario? What is the credit rating and all that? How are the revenues growing? So these few things we summarize in the report. Next to this, we also come to some other points. For example, what is the management comprising of? We delve into the promoter details, the board of directors and all that. We try to understand the experience of the promoters. We try to understand their historical performances. We try to understand what is the corporate governance scenario, right? Are they following the ESG parameters so that they do not get into trouble? Any contingencies do not happen in that respect. Then we move into certain other aspects like business specific parameters. For example, what are the segments they are operating in? And what are the segment growth rates? What are the geographical growth rates? And how maybe if the company has subsidiaries in foreign countries or different geographies, how are each of them performing? That data can be there. How are the brands developing? Are they entering some new segments? Are they doing some new mergers and acquisitions? Is their growth historically organic or inorganic? These kind of data have to be there. Now, what we have to see here is, when we summarize all these data, we mention both the historical data, the current data, and through our analysis, we are able to project the future also to some extent. So the past, the present, and the future. All these elements should be there in an ideal research report. Now, after analyzing all this, the business, the management, the finance, the regulations, the competition, the industry figures, let's say the credit rating scenario, the raw material situation. For example, if it's an F&B company and it is making milk products, what are the projected prices of milk, or availability, supply demand equation of milk products, or the availability of raw material, that is, which is milk, what is the pricing of that going to be? These things we have to analyze. Let's say they are making breads. What is the price of rice and wheat, for example? We may have to understand. So this is basically another parameter that we have to understand. What is going to be their cost of raw materials? What is going to be their cost of sales? What are they using for marketing? Are they using any brand ambassador? What is the cost of the rights they have taken for television, for digital, and what is the payment they are making to their brand ambassador? What is the proportion of the entire cost they are bearing only for the marketing? How much that is impacting the margins? So these kind of analysis, everything has to be there in the research report. There is no definitive that this has to be there the research report ends. The more comprehensive it is, the better it is. And out of all these analytics, after all these analytics, what we have to arrive at is basically a recommendation, a well analyzed, well interpreted, and well communicated recommendation, which is convincing and qualitatively rational. Right? This recommendation should be to the best interest of the investor, and this should be arrived at after lots of comprehensive research. So that's what basically a content of a complete research report should have. And friends, when I use the word summarize, I am not talking about concising. I am saying you have to write all these things in a way that is not too expanded, and it communicates the things crisply. You can also write, you have to explain in short or reasonably short form, reasonably concise form. It should not be too short that the target investor does not even understand why you are saying something, and it should not be too long that people while reading it get lost into the details. So that's about it. Summarize does not mean making it too concise. I just wanted to make a note of it.